was the founder of Scottish Sports Futures. So in the beginning, there was nothing structured, nothing, just a germ of an idea. And I had had a career in finance, and I had retired early, and I'd been involved in sport all my life, and sport had helped me a lot, and the friendships I made through sport had helped me a lot. So I was looking around for something to do, so the obvious thing was to start a professional basketball team, wasn't it? Yeah. And we did some coaching with the professional players, and we noticed the response of children to the players, who were role models for them, really, because they did a lot of work in schools. So I thought we could take that one step further and tackle some of the outstanding problems and challenges that young people had. So what we did was we approached Scotland Against Drugs and said, would you fund a programme in school? And they commissioned an independent research of the programmes through the Scottish Council for Research and Education, and that result of that independent evaluation revolutionised everything we did from there on in, because it was much better than they thought, and it was much better than we thought. So based on that, we were able to take this to funders. We came across the embryo of Cashback for Communities, which is where criminal cash is recycled into the communities that are affected, and through those organisations that can deliver the programmes that they'd want. So we were one of the, I think, the only non-sporting governing body which got funding from them, and that was really on the back of visiting what we were actually doing and looking at the evaluation. And I think that Cashback for Communities has now been funding us probably for about 20 years or something like that. And I would say that the reason that they've done that, and the reason that we've been able to keep close with them, is that we tell them what we're going to do, and we do it, and we evaluate it, and we feed it back. So regardless of a safe pair of hands, it's actually quite good at what we do. And I'm quite happy saying this because I'm no longer directly involved. When we started with 2 programmes, Twilight Basketball and Jump to It. Twilight Basketball, Friday nights, areas which suffered from challenges. The challenges then are quite different in many ways from what we face just now. Bear in mind, this is over 20 years ago. So territorialism and alcohol and drugs, those are the 2 main problems. Glasgow was beset with gangs. Television crews were dispatched from London to film the fighting on Friday nights. We had more gangs than we had in London, but we worked with the Violence Reduction Unit, who were amazing, and worked well together with them, and also with community safety. And if looking back, I can remember a meeting that I had with Phil Walker, who was then the head of community safety, and I wandered through his door and we sat down and we hit it off immediately. And he listened to everything I said, and he said, okay, so we've got problems here in Glasgow. You have some ideas, and we have some ideas, and if we work together, because we've got some money, then perhaps we can solve some of the problems. And we worked together with them for the next few decades. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But over the last 20 years, probably, things have changed and the challenges are different. And I would put a lot of that down to the work that the Violence Reduction Unit did in dismantling the gangs and giving people, and ourselves, and others like us, and giving them something more meaningful to do on a Friday night and on other nights of the week too. And that worked very well in the schools also, because that's where it all began. If I could add to that the importance of local knowledge, when we started with Twilight Basketball, we'd got, I think, £25,000 from Lloyds Trustee Savings Bank's foundation. And Celeste, my wife, and myself and Ross Hutton went to the first Twilight Basketball event in Easterhouse, Bosco Juniors. And one person turned up. One person. And I thought, we've got £25,000 and we've got one person turning up. However, that grew and grew. And the reason I mentioned local knowledge is that we were doing something quite good and I didn't understand it, we didn't know about it. Because local community leaders came to one of our events and were amazed because people from gangs who were outside of the area where the centre was came, and it came, and that sort of developed into sports centres being safe areas and non-territorial. And the same thing happened in Drumchapel, and the same thing happened in Easterhouse at the Donald Dewar Centre.